I'm Cody, and I did characters for chapters 4 and 5. We have Jay Gatsby. Jay is the protagonist of the story who gives the name to the story. He lives his life around one desire to reunite with Daisy, the love he lost. His quest for the American dream leads him from poverty to wealth. In chapter 4, chapter 5, Jay invites Daisy over to his house, and Daisy is overwhelmed by his luxurious lifestyle, and when he shows her his extensive collection of English shirts, she starts to cry. Gatsby then tells Daisy about his long night spent outside thinking about their future happiness. And then my textual evidence, page 92, the beautiful shirts. It makes me sad because I've never seen such beautiful shirts before. And the next slide, we have Nick Carraway. Nick is the story's narrator. He helps Jay reunite with his lost love, Daisy. Nick helps Gatsby by arranging a meeting over tea with Daisy in exchange for Nick to join some of Jay's business, but Nick refuses, but will do the meeting with Daisy and Jay anyway. It rains on the day of meeting, and Jay becomes nervous. Nick wonders if Daisy can possibly live up to Gatsby's vision of her. And then when Nick meets Mr. Wolfsheim, he thinks he's a shady person and believes that Gatsby's wealth came from an honest source. And page 83. Well, this would interest you. It would take up much of your time, and and you might pick up a nice bit of money. It happens to be a rather confidential thing. Jay said that. And I've got my hands full. I'm obligated, but I couldn't take on any more work. Nick said that.
Okay, so why go back? Oh, maybe you'll talk about it in Wolfsheim. I want to know why you think Wolfsheim is shady.
Yeah, I talked about it in Wolfsheim.
Okay.
The next one. Mayer is Gatsby's business associate, and he is linked to organized crime. He is a gambler, also attributed with fixing the 1919 World Series. Wolfsheim helped Gatsby's fortune, although that wealth came from questionable means. Meyer is a shady character with underground business connections. And then Meyer Wolfsheim, no, he's a gambler. He's the one who fixed the World Series. And for my last character, I have Jordan Baker. Jordan is a friend of Daisy's, like Daisy, represents a woman of a particular class. Jordan is a young single woman of wealth and is admired by men. She dates Nick casually, but seems offended when he is the first man to not fall for her charm. Jordan tells Nick the story of Daisy and Gatsby before Gatsby left for the war. She also told Nick the day before Daisy's wedding she went into her room and before the bridal dinner, and Daisy had a bottle of alcohol in one hand and then the letter in the other, and she was very intoxicated and crying a lot. And on page 76 it says, I was a bridesmaid. I came into her room half an hour before the bridal dinner and found her lying on the bed as lovely as June night in her flower dress and as drunk as a monkey. She had a bottle of Saturny in one hand and a letter in the other. Then Jordan tells her, tell them all Daisy changed her mind. Say, Daisy changed her mind. She begins to cry. She cried and cried.
Okay, do you talk about the pearls in the letter later?
I do.
Okay.
Not really the letter, but the pearls.
Okay, so what's the deal with the letter?
Isn't it from Jay?
Yeah.
Okay, what makes you think that?
Because
You're right.
Because, like before Jay left for the war, they were like in love.
And she was going to go see him. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And
She
then
was
he
going to go see him. Sorry, go.
Go ahead, Let Cody go. Let Cody go. He was on a roll.
Okay, and then like Jay left for the war, and she married him, or she married the other Tom. I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
Tom Buchanan.
Buchanan.
Right.
Tom Buchanan. And
Oh, she was going to go see him too, and her mom stopped her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason that she ended up meeting Tom to begin with, was because she never went and saw Gatsby before he left.
And what makes you think that letter's from Tom? In her reaction. It is. You're right.
Tom?
Not from Tom. I'm sorry. From Jay. Yes, from Jay.
Just because
What does she do?
she's like crying and she won't let it go of it. Like she seems really attached to it.
And she gives the pearls back.
Yeah.
Yeah, she throws them away and then she. Back, yep, good. Okay, good, awesome.
I did symbols. The first symbol that I found was Mr. Gatsby's car. The car represents the materials Gatsby came to care so much for. He became a very materialistic person in order to gain Daisy's attention and respect.
Wait. Okay, so why is the car, what is it about the car that makes it a symbol of
It's
that?
really flashy and bright and catches everyone's attention right away.
Okay. And you should pay attention to what color it is, because it's going to be important later.
It's bright yellow.
Ooh.
So,
I thought it was yellow.
Well, it was beige.
I don't know. It's something like
Okay,
that.
you should know, because later on it's going to be important in another part of the story.
so what color is it?
So go and find out. I think it's beige.
Alright, we'll go from there.
The next one I found was the white card that he flashes to the policeman. It was just a little card, but it represents a large amount of power and wealth. It was used to put Gatsby above the law. I was able to do the commissioner a favor once, is the explanation he gave for having the card. So it's kind of saying that he has the money to be able, or has put himself in a position to be able to like do things to gain things.
Yeah, so we were talking about commissioner, we're talking about the police commissioner. So, yeah, he does have connections. What does he use it to do? When do we find out about it? What does he use it for? When do we see it?
Because he was driving recklessly and the policeman comes up and he shows it to him and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gatsby, I'll know you next time."
Yep.
The next one I found was Daisy's pearls. The pearls can be seen to represent romance or a lack of independence. Daisy receives the pearls as a wedding present and decides to take them off when she wanted to leave it all behind for her true love, Jay Gatsby. In the moment she finished reading the letter Jay sent her, or who we infer sent it to her, she didn't care about the money, just romance, just the love that she had. On the side of independence, she is in a very controlling relationship with Tom, and even if she didn't know it at the time, she gave all of her independence up whenever she put the pearls on and got married.
Yes, and you should notice, like with the paper, the letter that she gets, she's sitting in the bathtub. Her friends are trying to sober her up, and she's still got that letter in her hand, and it says something like it dissolves in her hand like snow or something, like white
It's
snow.
Like snowflakes. It was
Yeah, and
blowing away like snowflakes or something.
yeah. So remember, this is a book about dreams that dissolve. You know, it's about the American dream, but it's going to dissolve in front of you. Okay.
In chapter 5, the first one I found was Mr. Gatsby's room. It seems to represent where he came from and the roots of who he is. Jay puts on a show for everyone, especially Daisy, with his large house and immaculate parties, but the place that is I'm sorry, I spelled that wrong or something. The place that is of no moderate... I don't even know what I just put here. That is intellectual cultivation of no moderate depth or scope. Most private to him is the most simple. I don't remember writing that. I did this really late at night. The simplicity is a reminder that this huge show is just to gain attention. Yeah. I might have been for a different one because I mixed them up on the paper. Okay. The seasonal shirts was the next one I found. The shirts represent his wealth. They show the extent of Gatsby's facade. He kind of puts on a show for everyone, like I said before.
Where does he tells Daisy where he gets these. So in general, where does he get his shirts, his clothes?
England.
Yeah, he has a guy over there buying them for him and sends them over. What does she do when she sees the shirts?
She cries.
Yeah, into the shirts. They're so beautiful.
They also represent Daisy's feelings of regret and the memories that are being tossed at her.
Mm.
So, like, she sees all of these things and realizes that like she gave it all up for Tom because he had money.
Oops.
And the last one I found was the green light. This one was mentioned in chapter 1 as well. The light is seen as a symbol of hope. Gatsby hopes to become closer to Daisy, and then she is suddenly within his reach. But it is as though she was suddenly so close, but like he could no longer see the woman he loves. It's because there was like a haze in front of it, so he could hardly see the light whenever he tried to show Daisy. And now he realizes after they're so close that she's vanished forever because she's no longer the person that he fell in love with.
Your dreams are sometimes better as dreams than the reality. Yeah.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
I found the color of the car.
Oh, you found the color of the car.
It's a rich cream color.
A rich cream color. So beige, bright beige. It'll just be important later on when you hit... What?
Course beige, isn't it?
Cream, yeah. I think cream and coffee.
Oh, what did I miss those? Okay.
Yeah, I don't care about the order. Any order you give me is fine.
Okay. You gotta remember this one. So up in the corner, I did the green light because, like, it's kind of tiny and in the corner and hidden because it was something that he could hardly see anymore. And I did the fancy shirts that he showed Daisy, the music coming from the house because he went and actually woke up his roommate or whatever to play for them.
The border, yeah.
Yeah, the border.
King Springer or something like that.
And I put lights on because he always had his house lit up, and they said that it looked like a circus or something like that. And the only light that I didn't put the only room I didn't put a light in was Gatsby's bedroom because it's said to be really private and simple. And then I did the like grass. This is more tame, and then like it's more wild and not as on Tom's side, or not Tom,
Nick.
And in the
Yeah, remember he gets somebody over there to mow it in the rain before
Yeah.
before Daisy shows up because he wants to impress Daisy.
And then in the window I put a flower because Gatsby sent over a whole greenhouse to impress Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put a little thing like coming from the window with a T and a little heart because that's where Daisy and Gatsby got back together, kind of, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And then I put like little coins for the money that Gatsby earned. And the things that he showed Nick in the car, the Oxford and the medal.
Yeah, what does he tell Nick in the car? Because at first Nick doesn't believe him.
He tells him that his family all went to Oxford. It was a tradition, so they went.
And where does Gatsby tell Nick he got his money?
His family died.
Yep.
Like,
Yep,
he
they
was
were
all by
rich.
himself, and that's why he like does all these crazy things because he avoids feeling alone.
Okay.
And then I put Daisy's letter and then her drink because she was all tipsy.
Yeah,
And
she
I put
was.
a little.
Drunk as a monkey.
Yeah, there you go. That's what he said.
I did his car with a little white card, someone holding a white card out the window, and then I did the pearls on the.
What's the medal? Tell us about the medal,
Um,
because that's important. Isn't that what that is? In the middle,
Yeah.
the orange?
It's the medal that he won in the war from this little tiny country city thing, and it says Jay Gatsby, and that he won it because he like saved a bunch of people with machine guns.
He tells Nick that each of the countries gave him this award, these medals, and he just happens to have the one from little bitty country. And Nick kind of, because at first Nick's going, Nick is kind of like, oh, he's putting on airs, not really believing this. And he calls out the medal, and Nick kind of goes, whoa, wait a second here.
Maybe he's telling the truth.
Yeah. It's all a little too perfect, like the books
Yeah.
in the library.
Oh, and I put earned because he earned his money, and he says that even if he doesn't, even if he changes it afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's everything.
Okay.
Well, I did important lines.
Okay. Give me your phone. That's really rude, and it's probably not helping you.
Alright, so
Thank
for
you.
chapter 4 on page 76, it says, "Here, dearest, she groped around a wastebasket she had with her on the bed and pulled out a string of pearls. Take them downstairs, give them back to whoever they belong to. Tell them all Daisy's changed her mind." This is what Daisy said to Jordan Baker on 1917 before her and Tom got married. And she's drunk and is basically saying that she doesn't want to marry Tom anymore.
Yep.
So, and then also in chapter 4,
Sorry.
on page 77, it says, "Well, about 6 weeks ago she heard the name Gatsby, okay, I can't say that. It's for the first time in years. It was when I asked you, do you remember if she knew Gatsby in West Egg? After you had gone home, she came into my room and woke me up and said, what Gatsby? And when I described him, I was half asleep, and she said in the strangest voice that it must be the man she used to know. It wasn't until then that I connected this Gatsby with the officer in the white car." So this is saying that when Daisy says, "It must be the man I used to know," she says it in like a strange voice, so it kind of like figures out that they used to be more than, or Gatsby used to be more than just a guy she used to flirt with.
Right. This was the officer that she was, the lieutenant that she was in the car with when they were young girls, when Daisy was just 18.
So yeah, it just shows that they had more than just flirting. Okay. And then, so in chapter 5 on page 90 it says, "I thought you inherited your money." "I did, old sport," he said automatically, "but I lost most of it in the big panic, the panic of the war." I think he hardly knew what he was saying, for when I asked him what business he was in, he answered, "That's my affair." Before he realized that it wasn't the appropriate reply. "Oh, I've been in several things," he corrected himself. "I was in the drug business and when I was in the oil business, but I'm not in either now." So this shows that Gatsby isn't a very good liar. And
He's definitely trying to juggle some truths, isn't he? He's like, what
and
is
then,
the
like,
truth?
In Nick's eyes, it makes him more
Jaron,
honest
can you
than
sit
other
up,
people.
please? Not sleep, thank you.
In Nick's eyes, it makes him more honest than other people. So.
Okay.
Okay, I did the questions for chapters 4 and 5. Some questions you may ask yourself after reading those 2 chapters. Level 1 questions. What does Gatsby tell Nick about his life and source of wealth? This can be found on page 65.
Are you going to tell us the answer is?
So he says how his parents died, Gatsby does. His wealth kind of like got passed on to him.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things he said. He also said, he mentioned some stuff about the war and stuff. Is that what his wealth?
He said that he lost money in the panic of the war, and then he got
So he
into
invested.
businesses.
When the part when they're talking about like the meeting with Daisy, Nick, and Gatsby, when the part where he says, "I have a job for you," but it's like confidential, wouldn't that be him telling him his source of wealth?
Well, it's not really how Gatsby got his wealth, but it's that when he's saying that to Nick, Nick feels like he's trying to buy Nick's arranging that tea
Oh,
with
yeah.
Daisy, and Nick is just, he's doing it as a friend, and it's almost like Gatsby doesn't know what a friend would do for a friend. You know what I mean? He always thinks he has to pay people.
Yeah. Okay.
What does Daisy hold on to and destroy during her meltdown?
I know.
That would be Gatsby's letter.
Here's the meltdown of her, the day she was getting married.
She soaks it and like crumps it into a ball, and that's not good.
Yep, and she's in the water.
And why does Gatsby want Nick to invite Daisy over for tea? He feels like it'd be he feels like he's waited too long and he's afraid, so he tries to get Nick does try to No, okay. Gatsby tries to get Nick to invite Daisy over so Gatsby can drop by.
Yeah, he doesn't even want Nick to tell her.
Scared of being rejected. 'cause
Yep.
It's been so long.
Exactly. Exactly. He's very nervous.
Level 2 questions. Why does Gatsby disappear from sight in Nick's house when Tom shows up on page 74? I wasn't quite sure about this one, but like,
Ask Cody, he knows.
Is it because, like, he's nervous?
Oh, when Tom shows up?
Tom never showed up.
You mean Daisy?
I
Yeah.
think on page 74 Tom showed up.
No, I think you meant
Maybe.
Daisy.
Yeah, I think you meant Daisy.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like, when him
'Cause-
and Nick were sitting down, and then Nick says, I have to get up and go say hi to somebody. And he walks up and goes and says hi to Tom. Is that what you're talking about?
I think we should look that up because I think you're
It's
confused.
at the very top.
The reason why Gatsby gets up and leaves is because Daisy and Gatsby had like a secret, private, like they dated or did
They're
something
talking about
together
it
in
in
the
the
past
restaurant.
life, and then
Yeah, the restaurant.
Yeah, Nick's the one that leaves.
That was at the restaurant. He's talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's not in Nick's house.
No.
That's the problem. It's at the restaurant.
Yeah, when he's with.
Oh, okay. Okay, right. Because we learned that Gatsby has tried to find out about Daisy and find out about Tom, but he's never been able to. He's read all sorts of newspaper articles and that sort of thing.
So when Daisy is asked not to invite Tom to tea, why does Daisy ask, who is Tom? I feel like this is kind of a, I want to say sarcastic remark.
Yeah, kinda. A little flirtatious, like who? Yeah, like she could care less.
Yeah.
She's what?
She's a savage.
She is. Yes.
And is Mr. Gatsby lying about his past when he tells Nick all this stuff about him being in the war and how he got his wealth and everything? How he stumbles like and tries to like try to make it seem truthful. It can kind of be concluded from that he's not very good at.
He's got a lot of stories he's trying to keep straight. Seems like.
see, was he lying about the stories when he was in the war, or was that true? But he was lying about how he got his wealth and all that.
I think he's lying about both. I think he's like, maybe not lying entirely about the war, but he's kind of like making it more than it was.
I think you're right.
Over exaggerating.
Yeah.
And some level 3 questions. To what kinds of extremes will people go for love?
Ooh, well, that's a good one. What do you think about that?
I know this. Gatsby purposely bought a mansion, like a big flashy mansion, right? Like near Daisy, just like be close to her and show off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Think people do that in real life?
Yeah.
So they have the
Yeah.
money.
Yep.
I don't.
Even stalk people maybe? I don't know, you know.
and about the trying to like do anything he can for Nick to set up the meeting with Daisy just so he can like get back with her and meet with her.
Yeah, like he wants to recapture what they had.
So he'd like
Unfortunately, she's got a husband now.
and like get anything for Nick just for him to do it because he loves Daisy.
Yeah. Does seem to be what's driving him in life.
Will we ever find out like why Daisy and Gatsby like went their separate ways?
You already have.
It's 'cause he
And
went to war.
and her mom wouldn't allow it because he didn't have money.
Yeah, he was beneath her in social stature.
And he came back
Right.
and was rich.
Yeah.
Which is a
How can wealth make your life easier? We know that wealth can like make it easier in some aspects, but also more difficult. That's the next question after this. How can wealth negatively affect your life?
Okay, so tell us from the story what you thought were examples of each of those and then how that would apply to real life.
like when Yasmin said earlier when he got pulled over by the cop because he was driving recklessly and he just pulled out the white card because like I think that like helps his life out a lot.
Okay.
So,
So it could be his wealth in that case, or maybe his connections, or maybe they're both intertwined.
I think they'd be both intertwined because he wouldn't have known the people he had to get that if you weren't wealthy,
Hmm.
if you didn't have a certain social status.
What else?
For the negatively affect your life.
Well, wait. That's like one thing. How else can wealth make your life easier? What else do you see in this thing?
Paying off bills and all that stuff.
Okay, how do you see that in the Gatsby?
He has everything.
Yeah. He doesn't really have to worry about needing anything. Just more of like what he wants now.
Like what?
Daisy.
Okay.
You don't have to work.
The lavish parties, the people bringing in all the flowers. He doesn't do any of the cleanup himself. Okay.
He kind of gets to like show off her and impress her a little bit with all of his money.
Is there anyone else that wealth makes life easier for? You've seen? Tom, how so?
Because he went out and bought an apartment specifically for his mistress.
Yeah.
It doesn't specifically say that in this chapter.
No, but I mean, they're developing. Yeah. Okay, how about the negative?
He has this ginormous house, but he has to like throw parties in order to have it full. Someone asked, I can't remember who asked him, but someone asked him, doesn't it get lonely in this huge house? I think it's Daisy. And he said, that's why I have it full of people constantly. So like, and it seems as though he kind of like feels alone even in the parties because he's just asking people if they know Daisy.
Yeah, that's his only reason for throwing the parties, is to get Daisy there, and she's never shown up.
Yeah.
And that's why he has to have Nick arrange the meeting, the tea.
And like you said before, he doesn't really know what it's like to have a friend because he tries to buy off Nick's help.
Yeah, he's so much about putting on the show that it's almost like he doesn't let anyone get close to the real him.
Seems like just a show off.
Yeah. For Daisy, yeah, to get Daisy's approval. Is that the end of your presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, good job. Give him a round of applause.